Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special episode of GameList. I am Jake. This is Colin. Colin, what's happening?
I just woke up.
Yeah, tell everybody how you ended up here.
I was asked to help somebody move this weekend, and I said, no, I have a meeting. I didn't have a meeting. I just didn't want to help move. And now I have a meeting, so it was true.
I ambushed Colin with a message, and I said, you want to record something for GameList? I want to record it right now. He said, yeah, sure. Let me finish this shit and let's do it. So he has no idea actually what I'm planning. Right now, It is November 11th, and the reason why I call us here today is I want to do some predictions before the predictions for the Game Awards, which air December 7th. But in between now and then, there is something happening, and don't go crazy. Don't try to prepare. I prepared something for us. It's not going to be too bad.
Do you have all the categories? That's what I was.
No. We're not even going to do all the categories. If you're listening to this, let me explain to you what this is. You are tuning in to our Game Awards prediction episode. This is going to have everything that you're looking for, as far as we are going to go through all of the nominees in all of the categories for the Game Awards 2023, including Game of the Year, Best Soundtrack, Best Actor, the whole 9 yards, everything. However, those categories have not actually been announced. Those nominees have not been announced yet. I'm recording this 2 days earlier as the opening 10 to 15 minutes of the show, and then as it proceeds, you will hear more things. But what I wanted to do first is I wanted to do a little special presentation introing this whole thing. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe, and if you're listening on a podcast app, rate us and blah blah blah, pitches, find us elsewhere. What I wanted to do is, before they announce the nominees, I wanted to do a prediction for the nominees of what 6 games will be nominated at the Game Awards for Game of the Year. So that's the start of the show, and then soon in the show we will edit in tomorrow's conversation. It's Monday at noon Eastern on November 13th. They will announce the nominees. So that evening, Kauline and I will record the bulk of this, but right now you're hearing us just a couple days before while we try to figure out what is going to be the Game of the Year nominees for the Game Awards. I'm now sharing Kauline.
I heard a and I was like,
We're doing it live, baby. We're making it all happen. Because I have prepared a nice little presentation. Don't spoil your 6. I want to make sure that we give proper consideration to everything here. So I put up an image now if you're watching the video version, and we're just going to run through these, and when we get to one that we're talking about, will it make your 6? Go ahead and say if it will make your 6 or not, and if it does, tell me why it makes your 6, and if it doesn't...
Now I'm looking at the list of all the games that came out this year, and I'm like,
the list is fucking nuts. I did a little bit of preparation ahead of time. So starting here at the top, Starfield. Does Starfield get nominated for Game of the Year? If you need a little bit of table setting, it's Keeley's Game Awards. This isn't the be all end all be all of video game awards, but it is arguably the biggest award that's given out every year. There are typically only 6 nominees, which I think will stick this year unless there was some sort of weird thing where they tie. I don't think that will happen. Let's assume that we need to pick 6 games that will get nominated for Game of the Year, and then of course later on in the show we will give you our prediction for what game will be voted Game of the Year once we find out how our predictions for the nominees went. You follow, you're smart, you're keeping up with us. This is content, baby. Starfield. Will Starfield be nominated for Game of the Year?
Starfield is in one of my maybes. I have 4 yeses and a bunch of maybes.
I need you to have your 6.
Can I say maybe on this?
I need you to have your 6 when it's go time. By the end of this quick conversation,
I'm going to follow my heart. No, it's not going to be nominated.
Okay, it's a no for me as well. Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes for me as well. I have ironed that out as one of my 6. Alan Wake 2.
Absolutely, yes.
I agree. I think Alan Wake 2's buzz is really, really good. I think it came out... I think if Alan Wake came out when Resident Evil 4 came out, it might not be considered. But Alan Wake is riding a high right now, and when ballots are going out for people to vote on Game of the Year, I feel like Alan Wake 2's got a really big shot.
It is my Game of the Year.
So far. You never know what
Call of Duty might take it.
It's true. I think Dead Space remake, we're probably going to be in the same spot.
Yeah, that was on my maybe list, but I'm going to say no. I
it's
think
tough.
no, it's been too long, and it was a great remake, but it didn't innovate a lot.
I think there are going to be some genre limitations here where I don't think there's room for 2 horror games in the category.
Or 3 horror games.
Or I think that they might split votes would be the scary thing.
Yeah,
would be
and
like,
I think if people were going to vote Dead Space, they would vote Resident Evil 4 instead, just due to more nostalgia lenses.
Yeah, for sure. The worry would be, are the people that were thinking like, I only want to vote for one horror game, going to vote Alan Wake 2 or Resident Evil 4, split the votes, and neither of them pop up. That could be a scary situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
But let's knock out the horror games in their entirety. Resident Evil 4. Does Resident Evil 4 make it for a nomination?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Yes.
So Colin, make sure you're keeping track of your list so that you're able to give me your 6 at the end of this.
I am.
Resident Evil 4 is, I don't think, going to make it. I think Alan Wake 2 takes its slot, eats its motherfucking lunch.
Here's what I hope Alan Wake 2 takes its slot. But I just think there's so much nostalgia around Resident Evil 4 that it's going to sway people.
It got the right reviews. Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Do you think it will be nominated for Game of the Year?
Here's my thing. I personally don't want it to be, but I know people suck Nintendo's dick like it's the end of the world. Yeah. So yes, it's going to be there.
This is not your picks for Game of the Year. These are your picks of what you think will be nominated for Game of the Year.
Mario Wonder will be there. It'll be
Mario
there.
Wonder is on my list as well. It's a no-brainer. Also, it's a contender for Game of the Year. Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
I really want it to be, but it won't be. It won't be.
I get it. I think you're right. I think Jedi Survivor, although it's been touted as one of these, I don't think Jedi Survivor is quite a 9. I think that game's like an 8.5 when I think back on it. And I just don't think it
I think it's 9.
But here's my hot take. When we do this in 2027 and Jedi whatever 3 is out, I bet it's going to be nominated for Game of the Year.
Yes. Also, I got the new PlayStation Slim and I was going through my old PlayStation before I turned it in to make sure I had everything uploaded, that I wouldn't lose anything. And I was going through the stuff that I had saved in my media, and there was like a long line of just Cal and Marin making out, where I would take screenshots and send you
freak,
pictures.
Bro.
And there was just a video of it, and I was like, what is this video from Star Wars about? And it's when they make the jump through light space or whatever, and then they like turn and instantly start making out, and I'm like, oh my god, this is wonderful.
You're a fucking animal.
It was great. It was hilarious.
This is an interesting question. Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. It's DLC, but it's alone. There's another one that will jump ahead of the list. I think I'm going to also lump it in with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed, which is one of like the 10 best Metacritic rated games of the year right now.
I give a note
above a lot of the things on this list. I just don't think they make it because they're DLC, which is a disadvantage.
And I think the outrage that we would hear if that got denominated for your Game of the Year would be kind of ridiculous. Like I would be okay with it. It wouldn't bother me, but I know a bunch of people would be like, "You're telling me they gave the Game of the Year nomination to a DLC instead of Street Fighter?"
Right? Yeah, it's tough. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, it's a
fucking shoo-in. It's a shoo-in.
Diablo 4. Win. I don't think it will.
win. I think it will win. I think well, we'll get there. We're gonna have that conversation at the end of this episode. Don't go anywhere. We'll argue that soon. Diablo 4.
Diablo 4. No, it will not be there.
Okay, I don't think so either. I think that Diablo 4's flame burned bright and then extinguished very fast. Yeah. Street Fighter 6.
No.
Street Fighter 6 is a yes for me. I think similar to that horror pick, I feel like Street Fighter 6 pops up in like a weird sort of like outside of the box fashion. I think the people that like fighting games in the game industry that are on this panel are going to check that box, baby.
See, my thought was, I think the people that kind of like fighting games will select the Mortal Kombat 1 box instead of the Street Fighter 6 box.
Oh, no, I think Mortal Kombat 1
there's a lot more people who kind of like fighting games than like fighting games.
I don't have Mortal Kombat 1 on this list. I didn't review particularly well, and it's also been kind of panned for its post-launch support and being very like free-to-play pilled and like super kind of toxic with the way that its online service, the games as a service, has worked.
I think it would be Mortal Kombat 1 before Street Fighter 6, but I also don't know anything about fighting games, so I
That's
don't
fair.
think either of
Yeah,
them will
put
be
on your
there.
list. Hogwarts Legacy.
Here's where I want to follow my heart and say yes,
Yeah,
because I love it. I love this game so much. It was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful game.
it's so good.
But dude, I'm so torn on this one.
For me, it's a no.
I think that it would be a no just for like
The same reason that we
political
were
correct
scared to draft it.
reasons.
Exactly. The people that are voting
Yeah.
on this are game industry people. A lot of outlets didn't cover it. I think it's going to have the same stink on it
Yeah.
that people were scared of going into its launch, which has proven to be not very effective in the long run. A lot of the video game industry
No.
did end up covering it and liking it, and the fandom was clearly there, and it's still, I think, maybe the best-selling game of the year.
Yeah, it's right there with Spider-Man and COD.
Yeah, it's a juggernaut, and it's a very good fucking video game. But I think that just
Right.
given the panel and the situation, I don't think it will be there, despite having pretty close ties to, like, that popped up at Keighley Events, I think. Hogwarts Legacy.
I think so. I think you're
I know
right.
there was a ton of PlayStation events for sure.
Oh yeah.
The saddest of the bunch, Hi-Fi Rush,
No.
I think doesn't get a nomination, but goddamn, that game is like a 9.5 maybe. It's a near perfect action video game that just came out at the wrong time.
Speaking about a
Final
near
Fantasy-
perfect action video game.
Final Fantasy 16.
I really like Final Fantasy 16, but
I
it is
like
just it is hidden by all the other amazing games this year. I don't think it makes it in.
Got it. All right. So then Final Fantasy 16 for me is, I don't know. It's the one that's the most on the cusp for me, where if I had a seventh pick, it would probably go to Final Fantasy 16. Even though it's a little bit divisive, I think that people really liked it for what it does. And I think especially with that game industry panel is how things are selected, there's a good chance. Marvel Spider-Man 2, let's not dwindle on this. It's going to be both of our
Absolutely.
lists. Like, I think it's a
Yeah.
shoe-in. It's one of the best games of the year. And then Xenoblade
Yep.
Chronicles we already talked about. Colin, I think the problem for you is that you owe me a pick.
No, I don't.
What do
Wait,
you
do
have?
I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I've got Zelda, Baldur's Gate 3, Alan Wake, Spider-Man, Wonder, and RE4.
Oh yeah, RE4. I forgot that you grabbed RE4. Okay, cool. So we have the exact same list, which is not ideal because we're both.
Wait, do we
so
really?
smart. Well, we have one difference, and it's Resident Evil 4, and I said Street Fighter 6.
Both
So we're
Capcom
both
joints.
here on true Cap God, Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, and Mario Wonder we think will be there, and then I think Street Fighter 6 will be on that list. You think that Resident Evil 4. I'm so glad that we don't have the exact same list, because all of a sudden halfway through this, as we were agreeing on everything, I was like, well, this is gonna be a fun 15-minute intro.
Well,
But,
okay. Well, what would your top 6 list be? You know,
That's
like,
well, that sounds like a year-long podcast format that if you're listening to the full version of this
Sure.
in your podcast feed, perhaps you go get some insight into. And, you know, that's like, to tell you what my top 6 is to spoil the end of the GameList season.
I'll give them a cryptic hint. 2 of your top 6 are not on this 4x4.
Yeah, for sure.
And one
But
of my top 6 is not on this 4x4.
I mean, my top 2 are Mario Wonder and Tears of the Kingdom, and Tears of the Kingdom is number 1.
You're always talking about how Nintendo fans ride dick, and here you are
I
riding
know,
dick.
it's so bad. I've talked about that so much on my streams lately about how I don't want to be the person who has like 3 first-party Nintendo games in their fucking top 5, but here I am with 3 first-party Nintendo games in my fucking top 5. It's a goddamn nightmare. But I don't know. We'll see where the dust
I don't
settles.
even
There's still
have-
some stuff to add.
We extended our list to 20, and I don't even have 20 in my list right now. I'm gonna have to figure out some things.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that because we haven't really revealed our full top 20 on the thing. That's
we've
a new addition coming soon. That's a little tease for the future. Speaking of a tease for the future, that's where we're going to end this. The next thing that you see is going to be me 2 days later telling you that this is the rest of the episode. All right, everybody, welcome to the second half, the interesting half of this podcast. We are going to dig in to the actual nominees and make our predictions, and we're doing this twofold. The way that we're doing this is we are going to vote individually on what we think will win and what we hope will win. So when we do the recap after the Game Awards airs on December 7th, we'll probably record that a couple days later. You're going to be out of town. You're going to be at the Game Awards, our
I will be at
correspondent
the
in the
Game Awards.
field.
Yeah, we're sending me to the game.
We'll find out
Awards.
who was more accurate with their predictions, and we'll also find out whose heart was most broken which is just so fucking fun and entertaining. We're gonna skip the 4 or 5 esports awards because we don't really have a horse in those race. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Agree. Maybe in a few years somebody will care, but it's not us and it's not now. So we're starting from the bottom up and we're going for most anticipated game, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
Good stuff in the category. They said only announced games, but Grand Theft Auto 6 is lightly announced but not listed here. Somebody in my chat.
I don't know.
Future
there's
in my chat.
There's no art
on
for
Twitch.
it. You know,
Correct,
like there's no art for GTA 6.
How do you represent it here?
Yeah.
Made a prediction that they figured they would have most anticipated game Grand Theft Auto 6 would be there, and then if it won, they would roll into the trailer from there, which I think would have been really fucking cool, but not an option because the nominees are as follows.
It would have felt so rigged then, right? If GTA 6 had a 1. Like,
yeah,
everybody always says this thing's rigged anyways. I don't think it is, but people are like, it's rigged.
I don't think there's any reason to rig it.
No, absolutely not.
What Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 8. You know why? It's because there's not really a whole lot of shit that's slated for next year right now. That's like officially coming out in 2024. Hey, remember all those first party PlayStation games that are slated for next year?
Yeah, man.
None of them.
So I think
there are 0.
there's Helldivers.
That's second party.
Well, technically. It's under the PlayStation Studios banner, though.
There's the best bet you have is like Wolverine.
Okay, so you're saying Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth for both?
You know me too well.
Yes. I don't even know why we took so long on this one. Yeah. I said Star Wars Outlaws is my most anticipated.
Really?
But I think Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth will get it.
Fair.
Yeah, I'm voting Star Wars Outlaws though. So
I like it. It shall be recorded always and forever. The best adaptation, Castlevania Nocturne.
Adaptation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, the Super Mario Brothers movie, and Twisted Metal. I mean, there's 2 horses in this race, basically, right?
The Last of Us and Mario, right?
Pretty much. I
say The Last of Us all the way.
I think I'm going Last of Us all the way as well, which isn't very interesting for this podcast so far.
That's okay.
I think that the Mario movie has a chance. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think that The Last of Us is just higher brow and better put together. And I mean, when it really comes down to it, just like the person behind The Last of Us, Craig Mazin, the guy who did fucking Chernobyl, is making some of the best TV out there right now. Let's talk about best multiplayer game. For outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op, MMO, and irrespective of game or genre platform. Okay, so Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, and Super Mario Brothers Wonder. This is a tough category.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I want to say I think anything Baldur's Gate 3 is in, it will sweep it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think I would choose probably for best multiplayer, like competitive multiplayer. I'm going to give it to Street Fighter 6 just because it's such a multiplayer focused game. Like you can enjoy Diablo 4 alone as a single player experience.
Is that what you want to win? Alone. Or is it?
No, sorry. That is what I want to win. What I think will win is, you know what? I'll take it to the fucking head. Give me both.
Okay.
Street Fighter 6 for both.
I'm gonna say I've not played Baldur's Gate 3, but I plan to play it. Me and a friend have been planning our playthrough of it soon. So I'm gonna give it to Baldur's Gate 3 both. I think.
Can't knock it.
No, I think Baldur's Gate 3 is gonna be the standout this year. Best sports/racing game, easy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you can read off the
EA Sports FC 24, F1 23, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged, which I feel like came out to like absolutely nobody giving a fuck about it. It's kind of come and gone already.
Even though people like the first one.
And the Crew Motorsport.
So, Motorfest.
Dude, I do that every time. That's so bad.
Yeah. My personal favorite by far is Motorfest, the Crew Motorfest. Yes. But I think Motorsport will probably win. Forza Motorsport.
Lock it in. I think Motorfest deserves it. It's the best fucking sports and racing game of the year. But I think EA Sports FC 24 takes it.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, the Crew Motorfest is the best racing game by far this year.
So
without
fucking
a doubt.
good.
It's so good.
Best sim strategy game: Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, City Skylines 2, Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, Pikmin 4.
It's got to be Pikmin 4, right?
I think I believe Pikmin 4 will win. I would like in my heart of hearts to see Advance Wars get a little love.
I think so too. I haven't played any of these games, unfortunately. But Advance Wars is the one of them that I want to play the most. So I'm going to say Advance Wars. And I think Pikmin 4 will win. So we're the same on that.
That's fair. The best family game: Disney Illusion Island, Party Animals, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
It's got to be Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
It's Super Mario for both for me, but goddamn does it break my heart not to give it to Sonic just a little bit. I love that game. It's just such a hard year for Sonic to come out in. Are you Mario Brothers up and down?
I think that's a Mario swipe or wipe right there, right?
Yeah.
Sweep. That's right. That's the word I'm looking for.
Best fighting game: God of Rock, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, or Street Fighter 6.
Street Fighter 6.
Both for you?
Well, I haven't played any of the others, but I'll say my personal is MK1.
All right, it's Street Fighter 6 both for me.
That's fair.
Best RPG: Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Sea of Stars, Starfield.
Baldur's Gate? It's got to be Baldur's Gate all the way.
Don't make me ask you every single time if it's your personal pick or the one that you think will win. Qualify it or do both.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, my personal pick is Final Fantasy 16 because that's what I have played and liked.
Okay.
But I think Baldur's Gate will win.
Fair. I think Baldur's Gate will win as well. In my personal pick, Starfield.
Oh boy.
Well, the role reversal will never cease to amaze me about this year. You being the Final Fantasy fan and me being the Starfield fan is the craziest series of events fucking ever.
It is very odd.
It's blasphemous to both of us in 2022. Like prior to those games coming out, nobody would have guessed. The best action adventure game: Alan Wake 2, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, or Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This is a fucking loaded
It's a hard one,
dude. Don't you feel like there should be a horror category at this point?
There should be a horror category this year.
That's tough putting those two in there.
Personally,
I'm interested to hear where you go, because this is like all you, man.
It is all me.
Adore everything in here.
Well, I adore 4 of them and kind of like Tears of the Kingdom. Personally, I want Alan Wake to win, but I think Tears of the Kingdom will win.
I think Tears of the Kingdom in my heart of hearts, and then I believe that Spider-Man 2 will take this category.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I can totally see it either way. Like, this is one of the categories that it could totally go any way.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no wrong answers here except for Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
No, well, I wouldn't say that's a wrong answer, but
I don't know.
Oh, best action
game. Yeah. So Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, Dead Island 2, which is I feel like nice to see that. Not many people talk about Dead Island 2.
It was a great game. That's high on my game of the year list.
It did great. Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Remnant 2. I actually think and love Hi-Fi Rush, so I'm taking it for both. I think this is where it gets its flowers. I feel like the game industry has this conversation with themselves a lot about how Hi-Fi Rush, releasing in January, shadow drop, no hype, no fanfare, kind of came and went, but it's still like a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10. They're going to want to give it its flowers, and this is the place to do that.
I think my personal vote's Dead Island 2, but I think Remnant 2 will get it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's not a bad pull.
I think it's between Remnant 2 or Armored Core 6 here, but
fair.
I'm not voting for Armored Core 6 out of 10. All right.
Nice. Fucking got him.
Yeah.
Best VR or AR experience: Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Humanity, Resident Evil Village VR mode, or Synapse. I'm gonna go. So I want Humanity to win, and I think Horizon Call of the Mountain will win, because Call of the Mountain is, besides Synapse, the only like bespoke VR AR experience here. Humanity is playable outside of VR and AR. Resident Evil Village and Gran Turismo 7 both have versions of it that exists. You know, it's a tacked on experience essentially.
Yeah.
And I think Horizon Call of the Mountain is, despite not being like a system seller or a big deal, still a franchise.
I think I want RE Village to win, but I think GT7 will win. Because I've never heard someone say a bad thing about GT7's VR mode.
I know. It's actually one of the things that I'm most interested in playing that's locked to... I think I'm more interested in playing Gran Turismo 7 in PSVR than I am playing Horizon Call of the Mountain. But
yeah.
Walked away from doing so. $500 entry fee. Best mobile game. Hey, listen, man, I got a horse in this race. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Honkai Star Rail, Monster Hunter Now, Terra Nil.
Do you have any thoughts on this?
I mean, Ever Crisis, unfortunately, is kind of a piece of shit. So not only do I not want it to win, I also don't think it will win. I believe Honkai Star Rail will win just because it's fucking massively large and it's multi-platform.
I agree.
What do I want to win? Hello Kitty Island Adventure. We've never talked about this on the show, but it's a sweet little fucking Animal Crossing clone that is mobile, and it's also not riddled with microtransactions. It's an Apple Arcade game, so it's a fully functional experience that still gets updated. I think it's a really nice and sweet game, and a lot of people really fucking love it.
That's dope,
bro.
I want Terra Nil to win. It's a wonderful little strategy game, super peaceful, super cute. I think Honkai will win. It's just too big. It's just too big. Yeah.
Makes sense. Right.
Best debut indie.
Mine is loading. You go ahead and read those categories.
Yeah, this website sucks, doesn't it? Their website
fucking
is awful.
sucks.
We've got, for best debut indie, the best debut game created by a new independent studio. We have Cocoon by Geometric Interactive, Dredge by Black Salt Games, Pizza Tower by Tour de Pizza, Venba by Visay Games, and Viewfinder by Sad Owl Studios.
All right, this is interesting. This is like the first one that I'm really like pretty interested in.
Yeah.
I love Viewfinder. I adore Venba. I'm also confused as to why Chia isn't in this category. Spoilers, it is in the next category.
That's a good question.
So it says best debut enemy created by a new independent studio, and I don't think...
Are you okay? You said the best debut enemy instead of indie. You're having a stroke over there.
A little bit, yeah. But I don't understand why, because for best indie game, Chia is nominated.
Has that studio made a game before?
No, not to my knowledge. I believe they're a brand new studio.
I don't know then.
I want Venba to win. I believe Cocoon will win. Honorable mention to both Viewfinder.
Okay.
I love Viewfinder.
Okay. I say I want Dredge to win. This is one of my favorite games of the year.
Yeah.
I think Cocoon will win.
Yeah.
In my heart of hearts, I look at this and I see which one's got the best score, and it was Cocoon, I think.
It's an indie darling. Wait, Chia's not on this list? I swear to God, Chia pops up somewhere.
Oh, no. Also, Dave the Diver's on this list. Dave the Diver's not an indie game. It's like a fake indie.
All right, well, this is best independent game. It's Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, Viewfinder. Where do you land on this one?
I guess I've got to go Dredge as my personal again.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say Dave the Diver will win this, and I don't think it deserves it.
As good stars for this one.
Both?
Yeah.
Did you finish that game?
No.
Did you start that game?
Uh-huh. I got like 20 hours into that game. I plan on going back to it.
Yeah, I want to. So Dave the Diver's it's like a fake indie. It's made by a company called Mint Rocket, and Mint Rocket, it's published by Nexon, but Mint Rocket is also owned by Nexon, but it's like a little company that they kind of keep secret to make it not seem like it's a AAA studio.
Gigantic money behind it, yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, so Dave the Diver doesn't deserve to be here in terms of what an indie studio is.
Yeah.
But it's a phenomenal game from what I hear, and I really want to play it.
Sense to me. Now we get into some really interesting shit. Best community support.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, or No Man's Sky. God damn.
Dude, what the irony that Destiny 2 will be included here, and they just laid off half their
don't have a fucking
community
chance.
support staff. No. The community support on Destiny is pretty good, but it's not anymore because they fired their staff.
Cyberpunk is interesting. It's spoiler alert. Cyberpunk is here for community support. Cyberpunk is also nominated for best ongoing game this year, which is so interesting.
I think it might be the best ongoing, but I think for community support, how was Final Fantasy 14 this year?
Amazing as it always is, baby. It's my fucking heartfelt pick, and it's my likely pick. There's nothing like the communication that you get from Japanese developers in under Square Enix like this. Like, Yoshi P is operating on another level, and not only when you think about who's voting on this, Yoshi P had so much FaceTime with people that it wasn't just Final Fantasy 14 that he was supporting this year. He launched Final Fantasy 16 and still maintained that type of transparency. It's incredibly impressive.
That's I totally agree. I'm gonna say Cyberpunk.
Yep.
As my personal, but I think Final Fantasy 14 will get it. Now, you know what? For the sake of the fun, I'm gonna say No Man's Sky.
All right.
I like it. I think
No Man's Sky is always
such
a good fucking vote. Yeah.
So best ongoing.
Best ongoing: Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Genshin Impact. God damn. Where are you landing on this?
I'm gonna say Cyberpunk. I think Cyberpunk for both.
I'm gonna give it to, I think Cyberpunk will win just because of the crazy renaissance that it had this year with the 2.0 launch and how like beloved it is. I think that some of it is owed to like Starfield. I feel like so many people hopped off Starfield and onto Cyberpunk this year to scratch that itch. But my heart is of course Final Fantasy 14. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. My guess is of course Final Fantasy 14. My heart this time is Cyberpunk.
Yeah, and I don't think Final Fantasy 14 is a bad vote any possible way.
No,
you know?
So good.
Yeah, it's totally fair. Okay.
Next up is Games for Impact. This is where Chia shows up. A Space for the Unbound, Chance of Sinar, Goodbye Volcano High, Chia, Terra Nil, or Venba. I'm just happy that, remember last year we were both just like, neither of us knew any of the fucking Games for Impact, which is such an embarrassment. But this year I've got a horse in the race, and my guess and my hope is Chia both ways. I think Chia is so sweet. The thing I always say about the game is how much heart it has. There is no game that starts like Chia. If you start Chia, you are greeted with this 5-page written message with pictures of the development team explaining who they are, what this game is about, and why they fucking made it. And then it proceeds to be one of the sweetest little video games that I've ever played in my life. I think it's the subject matter is for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message, and Chia to a T describes this. Honorable mention, I think Venba's great as well.
Okay. I've not played Chia or Venba. I've played Terra Nil. I've not played Chance of Sinar, but I hear it's freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, me too.
And A Space for the Unbound, I haven't played, but I really want to. So my personal is going to be A Space for the Unbound because it's like a slice of life type game. And my vote, I'll go Venba. I've heard good things about that.
Yeah, I like it.
You know what? No, I'm going Chia. I think Chia stands the best chance.
Hey, welcome in.
I do. I think Chia stands the best chance. But I'm voting for Space.
You got to play it. I'm telling you, if we have any opportunity to make somebody play another person's game, I really would love you to play Chia, because you could knock out Chia in 2 streams. Like, and it's just so wonderful. All right. Innovation in accessibility. Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter 6. 6 of them.
Yeah, there was 6 in the last category as well.
Oh, yeah.
I think Spider-Man 2's it's the shoe-in, right? PlayStation has the best accessibility support of any.
It tends to be. Like, it always goes to, like, Last of Us or Uncharted or God of War, I think, one last year, maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So you go in for Spider-Man 2 both ways?
Yeah, I'll go Spider-Man both ways. Are you doing
I'm
the
going
same?
Spider-Man both. Yeah, Spider-Man across the board.
Smart one, he's on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Best performance. I think this one is so interesting.
Easy
Ben
pick for me.
for Final Fantasy 16, Cameron Monaghan for Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Idris Elba for Cyberpunk 2077, Melanie LeBird for Alan Wake 2, Neil Newbon for Baldur's Gate 3, and Yuri Lowenthal for Marvel's Spider-Man 2. You're obsessed with Yuri Lowenthal, right?
Yeah. Yuri Lowenthal just absolutely killed it in the Spider-Man 2, going through the black suit arc. And just phenomenal. He's so good. He does a phenomenal job. I'm him both ways. He's my vote, and I think he'll win.
I think Idris Elba is going to win. I think people that played that game are really hot on that performance. But my heart is with Ben Starr because there are points, no spoilers, but Final Fantasy 16, there are beats in that game and moments from Clive that to me are the best voice acted and relayed emotions that I've ever seen in a fucking video game. Like,
I agree.
Unreal moments.
He did a phenomenal job. Man, all of these are really good.
They are.
I don't know about Neil Newbin because I haven't played Baldur's Gate.
It's the person that everybody wants to fuck in Baldur's Gate.
Astarion?
The white-haired guy, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I loved Ben Starr. Also, he's just an attractive dude. Can we give him that?
You don't have to tell me twice.
Yeah. Cameron Monaghan did a good job as Cal Kestis again. I think he does a great job. Idris Elba was good in Phantom Liberty, but his character was not very... It was a big character, but I just feel like he wasn't present a lot, you know? He was not a Johnny Silverhand type character that was always there. Melanie Libbard for Alan Wake 2, phenomenal job, but most of her delivery is very, like, muted. Like, it's supposed to be that way because that's how the character is, but I don't feel like she had much of a chance to really show her range. And I think on range, Yuri Lowenthal is number 1 with Ben Starr is number 2. So, yeah.
When I think of Final Fantasy 16, the things that stick with me are like a couple boss fights and a couple voice lines from Ben Starr.
Yeah,
really
that's
insane
fair.
Shit.
That's totally fair, yeah.
Best audio design, recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design: Alan Wake 2, Dead Space, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4.
This is the easiest pick I've ever had.
You're Alan Wake on all of it, right?
All of it. Dude,
I've heard it's fucking nuts.
The title card, just the title card is enough to win you over.
I think I'm going to go with Alan Wake 2 for my guess and Hi-Fi Rush for my heart.
Okay.
Just because I didn't really play anything besides Hi-Fi Rush or Spider-Man 2, and I think Hi-Fi Rush obviously is like, with what Tango Gameworks did, it's so important and crucial to the gameplay. Like, the audio design had to be perfect, and more so than just like the soundtrack, because there is licensed music in it. There is non-licensed music that's like keeping the beat of the fights constantly, and then also all of like the fucking sound effects in that game when you're actually fighting things are really impressive. Impactful.
It definitely makes sense why horror games are here, because sound is half of a horror game, is making the right sound. Dead Space and Resident Evil 4 both did a wonderful job. Spider-Man did a wonderful job. I didn't play Hi-Fi, but Alan Wake 2 is just on another level. Like, they absolutely killed it, both with their environmental design and with what we're getting to soon with their score. It was phenomenal. So
Alan Wake 2.
Just to confirm, sorry. You did say Hi-Fi is your personal, and then Alan Wake 2 is the actual?
I guess, yep.
Okay. Yep.
So for score and music, Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This is a tough one. I want to hear what
I'm Alan Wake 2 all the way.
Really? On the score and the music?
Yes, I've been listening to Alan Wake's music since I finished it. I literally am jamming out in the car listening to Poets of the Fall.
I want to give Sorry, I saw you drop something and I thought I needed to fill air.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. I dropped a little cap. You're good.
All right. I really want to give some love to Zelda Tears of the Kingdom because there are moments in that game, even though the score is very understated a lot of times in Zelda, it's a lot of ambient tones and fucking little stuff. Zelda does some really interesting stuff where it takes and interpolates themes from not only the Breath of the Wild, like town themes, and adds different flares to them. Like going to Terry Town for the first time and hearing that theme kick back, and you're like, oh, it's not exactly how I remember it. I don't know. It's kind of like low key. Then it gets into the actual like refrain, and it's fucking like the craziest saxophone comes through, and like there are just moments in that game that are so magical, especially if you like other Zelda games. There's a particular moment towards the very end that starts to bring in some elements of other games that hits so fucking hard that outside of a moment in Final Fantasy 16 is probably my favorite moment of the year. I don't know, but I'm saying a lot about Zelda just so I can give this my heart and my prediction to Final Fantasy 16. Soaking, baby.
Okay, Final Fantasy 16 both.
Yeah, crazy.
Okay. Yeah, no, I totally. Final Fantasy 16 music was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
But man, Alan Wake 2 just resonated with me this year in a way that I didn't think possible. So.
Yeah, and I think Alan Wake and Final Fantasy 16 both have, like, when you think of what those game soundtracks should be, and then you actually look at the songs and the music that's a part of them, you go,
yeah,
oh, you don't fucking say. Like,
yeah, and the best thing about like Alan Wake 2 is they have a bunch of licensed music in that game, but they have put in the work to make it all copyright free, to where even like the high, like big name Poets of the Fall, or I think that's their name. I might be incorrect. But like you can play any of their music, any game that's in Alan Wake 2, you can play it on stream and you won't have a single issue. And the issues that they did have at launch, they've all resolved them and reversed any claim that was made. They've put in a ton of work to make sure that people can play that music because it is so important and so integral to the story. Like the music plays back into the story and the narrative of the game.
It's gonna be really sad when it loses to Final Fantasy 16.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I'll be sad when it loses to anything. Best art direction?
Best art direction! Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Mario Wonder, Tears of the Kingdom. I feel like I might have an interesting pick here. Yeah, I've heard you turning on that game lately.
I'm turning on it hard. Hi-Fi Rush?
Is that your pick?
I think Hi-Fi Rush will win because it's the only one that when I look at it, I'm like, oh, that art is cool. But Alan Wake 2 is my personal choice. The entire direction.
My guess and my heart here is Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I think that we talk about a lot of times, like with Tears of the Kingdom, if you just turn the camera at any point, you can find basically what appears to be like a watercolor painting that should be framed and put on a wall somewhere. I think that
if you turn the camera at any point, you have to wait 4 seconds before the frames load in.
That's fine. When it comes to art direction, though, talking about like doing a lot with a little is really, really impressive. The fact that like game has such dog shit graphics, you could say, but it's still somehow one of the most beautiful games ever made is fucking insane.
I just think they've already done it. I think they've already done it, and it's old news now.
A little bit, but I think that the stuff that they added is very impressive as well. Like not only the fidelity of that game, if you actually do look at like Breath of the Wild screenshots next to Tears of the Kingdom screenshots,
they do look better.
A market improvement.
And
when you add the aesthetic of the Sky Islands and slight spoilers, the depths, I think that there's a lot going on in that game for design, enemy design, location design, fucking skyboxes. It's absolutely insane.
I changed my vote to both Alan Wake 2.
Okay.
Best. What was your votes then? Both of them to Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Best narrative: Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, Final Fantasy 16, Marvel Spider-Man 2.
I'm Alan Wake on both of them.
You're not gonna fucking believe this. I am like, I don't know what to do here. I literally, okay, here's my thought. I'm gonna guess. I suppose I'm gonna guess here. So my thought is this is gonna go to fucking Baldur's Gate 3, and it's not gonna be close. That's what I think is gonna win. But my heart, the only frame of reference I have, I didn't do Phantom Liberty, I didn't do Baldur's Gate, I didn't do Alan Wake. I played Final Fantasy 16, I played Spider-Man 2, and I don't love either of those fucking stories. Like, I don't think that they're really both like bringing it home for anything. So I think, I guess my heart, like, I guess it would be nice to see Alan Wake take it. It seems like the coolest story. I've watched a lot of Alan Wake, you know?
Yeah, it's got a phenomenal, like, it's like very art house, you know?
Right.
A24. So your personal's Alan Wake 2, but you think Baldur's Gate 3 will take it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely being swayed by my love for Alan Wake 2. I'm not being realistic. This is the same thing I did last year. But yeah.
Yeah, but still, I think that it's got a shot. It's here a lot, man. Alan Wake 2 might be the most nominated game besides Baldur's Gate 3.
It is tied with Baldur's Gate 3.
No shit.
Yep.
Crazy. Best game direction, second biggest of the night. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Wonder, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
I think it's easily Alan Wake 2.
I think it's easily Tears of the Kingdom, and my heart goes with it as well.
Okay.
And I think we already know, like, let's not fucking hang on this for too long. Game of the Year, which, by the way, we now must reconcile our predictions. I guessed that the Game of the Year nominees would be Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Street Fighter 6, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
And what did I guess, Jake? What did I guess?
You guessed Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Wonder, and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and you were spot on, my friend.
Spot on.
Love to see it. I was streaming when these came out, and Colin DM'd me and said, "R.I.P. Bozo." Sent me a link to the fucking... So you're Alan Wake 2 for your heart and your prediction. You think it's going to win?
No. My heart is Alan Wake 2. My heart is Alan Wake 2. Baldur's Gate 3 is going to tear away. It is taking it easy. Baldur's Gate 3
heart and my prediction is Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It's the most gamer-ass video game that's come out in a long time. I was thinking about it. If I was doing like a game of the decade list, I think Zelda would be my number 1 and Final Fantasy VII Remake would be my number 2. Crazy. Fucking crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about our plan for covering the Game Awards. Obviously, we'll still have a podcast in between now and then when we talk about our normal, what we've been playing and whatnot. But on December 7th, the night of the Game Awards, Colin will be in there representing GameList, of course, shaking hands and kissing babies, getting us followers, rubbing elbows with the big wigs. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Handing out business cards. And then I will be reacting live on stream. Then Colin and I will put our heads together in early December and reconcile our votes. We'll find out whose heart was broken, who was the most correct, and who should go home crying to Alan Wake 2.
And then soon following, we will walk through our Game of the Year list with full spoilers
game list
for all games included. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's going to be fucking fun, and that's the right way to do it this year, is we're not stepping on toes. You don't want to be spoiled, then go beat the fucking game.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, that's nobody but Colin, and Colin says to nobody but me. But nonetheless, I think it's the right way to do it. Colin, where can the people find you?
You can find me at Kauline _ KAULINE _ pretty much anywhere. Just look me up.
Yeah. You just find me at amazingstreamer.com or Jake Twitchin, wherever. Thanks so much for being here. Last word, Colin?
Alan Wake 2.
Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.